Welcome to the official AFL Fantasy Podcast with the Traders, thanks to Sportsbet.
G'day with the Traders, I'm Roy, I coach Destroy, and I'm here with Warnie.
Coach of the One Dogs.
And Calvin.
Coach Calvinator. I'm not very happy.
He's here.
Why not, mate?
I got dragged here today by Warn Dog.
You've been happy for weeks.
You've been the king of the castle.
I have been the king of the castle.
Hi, I'm Calvinator. I'm ranked in the top 2,000, a personal best for me.
That's not, I've never said that.
What?
I've never said that. But I lost my draft final to Cub.
Your classic final.
A classic,
You were very confident.
Because you were knocked out in
that.
draft before.
very
that.
confident against Cub. Yeah, very mediocre team he has.
we'll get into it obviously in a minute, but of all people to let you down,
I know.
this was just bound to happen, wasn't it?
It was a massive kick in the guts, and he will get my -3. We'll get to that in a moment.
I reckon he will.
It's not good enough. It's not a karma bus, Spawn.
It is.
I just saw all this unfolding and I thought, Warnie is going to be that happy about this.
Yeah. So did I.
8 points for another bloke, and I would have been even happier about it. Anyway, let's get into it. Our scores for round 22, the penultimate round of the AFL fantasy season. A tough round, it was, for a lot of coaches. But I top scored, Cal.
Oh, did
if you
you
came
what?
up against me in a prelim, you would have been knocked out with a 22-37. Slid me up slightly in the rankings.
That's your best score for the year, though, isn't it?
Oh, hang on. Oh, probably. But, I don't know. Roy, you were second with a 22.05.
Yep, solid enough for me because it was a horror. I had a horror round, really.
And you moved up in the rankings. So you're inside the top 5,000.
Yeah, that'll do me.
Your 5K club.
That's crisis averted, I'll call it.
back hard.
Yeah, it's disgusting, but
How
it's
you
okay.
slid slightly in the rankings.
Yeah.
But you're still ranked 1,500.
Yeah, that's okay.
PB.
But I just wanted also... It's not a P. I also wanted a late handball just to get into the 2,200 club there.
Well,
Yeah,
It's another kick in the guts.
it is. Yeah, when you have those
21.98.
rounds, you just find everything.
Nothing
to
goes
niggle.
your way.
Yeah.
we did see some big scores. Let's get into some of ours.
Here it is! That's what you did, Jenny. You stuck it right up them.
All right, I'm going to start there. Thanks, Cal, for suggesting to me to get in Jared Lyons into my side.
No worries.
139. Second highest score of the round.
This is something I do. I help others.
Do you?
You don't.
I always help
You
others.
never help anybody.
Did you not see my fantastic tweets letting everyone know all of these ins and outs over the weekend?
No, I didn't. But yeah, I can assume you were.
Well, maybe
helping.
if you followed that, you probably could have helped yourself a bit
No,
more.
you did give me a bit of advice on Friday night when Tom Stewart was out. I
And
saw
you were
it pop
about
up.
15 cans deep.
No, I saw it pop up and I went, oh, I better do something about that. I wouldn't have noticed. But yes, how good is Jared Lyons? And we'll talk about him as a trade target later on.
100%. Yeah, no, he's definitely a trade target.
Who
So
are you
he
going
was
with?
my +3.
Nice. Destroy?
Oh, well, I went the same. I had to because I just keep nailing good captains the last fortnight, and he was certainly one of them. So,
At least you meant this one.
yeah, now the thing is, it's pretty cute that he went well as my classic captain, but I didn't care about that.
Oh.
He was my draft captain, and he's got me through to the GF.
Oh, so he gets you draft +3. I thought your +3 in draft might have been some other bloke.
No, well, Hind and Stringer were both putting their hand up for the +3 in draft, but
Hind
I've just
and
got to give it to
Stringer ton of that
Lions.
for you.
Yeah, doing it in both teams for me.
Your love for the Bombers needs to come back, Roy.
It is, because this week they've got a good matchup too.
Oh, right.
Massive
and my
matchup.
draft team is full of them.
All right.
Bomberland.
Cal, where did your +3 go?
Kennedy, Roy.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
You're
Roy.
welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Roy.
Yep.
131.
You were angry at me a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
Really.
but
What did he have 40 about 3 weeks ago? Didn't
yeah,
Played full forward.
yeah,
man.
he's back in the guts though.
Man, it sucked.
131. What a champion.
Yeah,
What a
huge.
champion.
Is that back-to-back tons for him?
Yeah, and he still couldn't get me over the line.
No, that's a big score for him, isn't it?
Massive.
It was the most disgraceful display I've ever seen.
Because it's just not acceptable.
I'm going first. Took Miller. Took Miller. 82 points. I needed 90 to win my league matchup. I needed 90.
90. Is that all you needed from Took?
Yep. He's gone at 130 since round 6.
And you said he just never lets you down.
Never lets you down, and he's done a Zach Merritt.
Did
He
you
has.
make him your number 1 captain selection too?
Yes.
Too much responsibility for him.
Yep. They were kicking it over his head.
Yeah.
He didn't even take a mark.
Not one mark.
None.
That's the first time this year he hasn't taken a mark.
3 tackles.
Who was your VC for the weekend?
Jack Steele.
Oh, so you got greedy.
No. Jack Steele
You took on Jack Steele's ton.
He had 103 or something. That's not enough.
It's not year 2010. You don't take 100, do you?
No, you don't.
He should have.
And I should have. And
That would have got you in.
It would have got me through.
Oh, man.
You know what? What? He was. I added these up this morning.
Oh, do you know what Cal's top 2 captains average this week? 90. I did the maths on that. 90.
Oh, boy.
Why don't you add in my top 3 captains?
Yeah, because that was Lions.
Right,
That was number 3. Well, you select your stats when you
Yeah,
talk
but
about
you don't
these
get
things.
to select my stats. I select mine. He was my
90, Roy. His top 2 captains
It's
average.
not.
Took was my 4th lowest scoring player.
Oh, really?
Was he?
He's that bad.
So you've had a pretty good week then.
Oh, yeah. No, the rest of them was good. But Took...
Unbelievable. Now, my -3, look, I'm not going to give it to him, but he needs to be mentioned here.
Okay.
So, because last week I had the 3 so-called premiums all out,
Yeah.
I needed to play a rookie to cover Jake Lloyd.
Okay.
Now, Bianco,
He's been good for some.
he's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, he's been hitting 70s and 80s for people.
Yep.
He had 37 at half-time. And I was like,
74.
Way to do your job,
74,
mate.
yeah.
Guess how many points he had in the second half?
I don't know.
Come on, man. 3.
3?
I stopped even checking. I thought he's fine. I'll take his 60.
Yep.
Or double it.
Or
3
74.
Oh, exactly. Now, I'm not giving it to him, though, because, well, bless his little heart. It was better than a donut.
He shouldn't have been playing in round 22.
No,
on
exactly.
Your field.
He wasn't expecting
Well,
to
he
play.
wasn't.
No.
Like,
He
he's
wasn't
not
ready.
on my
He wasn't
field.
ready to go.
No,
He
yeah,
had
I was
his
like,
tracksuit
last
on.
minute, get out there, big fella. Now, the -3 goes to someone I talked up last week. So he not only let me down, he basically let half the country down.
He has.
Rowan Marshall.
Yes.
Don't rock up against Geelong, one of the easiest teams for rucks to score against. Hey, here's that ruck roll,
Everything
mate,
looks
that you
good.
wanted. Ryder's still out. You can't possibly go bad. Coming off career best numbers,
Yeah.
a little bit too much head wobble from Big Rowan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, pull your head back in, mate. So -3 goes to him, and I'm not very happy about it.
Right.
Made me look stupid
Whoa.
telling people to bring him in.
We rocked up down here, Roy,
Yep.
to Pig Park,
We did.
UTAS Stadium on Saturday afternoon for Hawks and the Bulldogs. Bloody Hawks got a win too, which was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, it was.
But
Dogs were
expecting big scores across the board.
Yeah.
VC on Tom Mitchell,
Yep.
105. Couldn't take that.
Nah.
Although,
Oh,
Cal, you probably
greedy.
should have. Not when you got 139 to come, Cal. But
Yeah.
we thought the Dogs would have a smorgasbord. It was pretty good conditions here.
Did they not get the memo? It's Pig Park out here.
3 Bulldogs who traditionally average
Yes.
over 100.
Yep,
Adam Treloar,
yep,
Josh Dunkley,
yep.
and my man, forever, never my man again, Lockie Hunter. All in the 50s. Hunter was actually the best of them, but 58. 58. He's been so bad. He's averaging like 60 in the last 3 or so, I think it is. So
Can I bring up a quote, a dog quote
Yes,
from the
please.
grandstand?
I'd love a dog quote.
yeah, it was looking good.
Midway through the first quarter,
Yep.
can I tell him, dog?
Tell him, but you'll probably put some mayo on it.
I won't. I'm going to say it word for word.
Okay.
You know how he gets all smug out here at Pig Park?
Yeah, I
Because he
do.
always gets so
I've
kissed on
definitely
it.
seen him smug out here.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to yell at
I
him.
take
either.
you back to the Cozzy day where he's look, Cozzy's got it again.
Got it again, boys.
Yeah, this is what he was sitting back in his seat. Should have put the VC on Hunter. Guess what? Shouldn't have, dog. Karma bus. Boom. Should have put the VC on Hunter.
He was bad.
Yeah,
Oh, War
smug dog finally got bitten at UTAS.
Will you finally trade him out at some point? Because you're running out of time.
Well, the dollars are down a bit. We'll talk about some potential trade outs coming up very soon. But, yeah, it was I don't know. It was just set up for him. He looked good early too. Just that. He took that mark in the back pocket. He's everywhere.
Yeah,
He's not
he
even in the
was.
forward pocket.
It's
He
unlike
was
Dog
there.
to go the early crow.
I know. Now, Cal, can you please let me know, did you see the video I put out of dogs sitting in the grandstand? His mask on?
Masks aren't made for these
No, they're
beards.
not. If you haven't seen it, you need to go into Roy's Twitter and have a look.
Now, just before we do go, the biggest score we saw on the weekend wasn't from AFL players. It was down in Hobart, actually, in the old Scholars Football Association.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if you caught this. It did the rounds on social a bit there. But for OHA, the old ships down there, we've got Trent Stanton. So Speedy was a very good TSL player as well. But he'd kicked 71 goals for the season. That was the last roster game. Brought up the ton. He kicked 30 goals in this game. But he's not only just kicked 30 goals, he kicked 30 goals 12. So 12 behinds.
Having a ping.
So he's having a good time out there. Unreal. So he scored 270 points just from his goals. This is not even thinking about marks yet. 48 from the behinds. So that's got him up to 318 points just from those stats. Now, I did some research.
Okay.
I researched this.
I don't
as
blame
Tom
you.
Brown does.
It's ridiculous.
Had about 20 to 25 marks. So that's 60 to 75 points on top of that. Reckons about 4 to 5 tackles. Some of his teammates said challenge on that one. But so 16 to 20 points from there.
Okay.
And then there were a few extra kicks and handballs, obviously, that weren't just shots at goals.
I don't know about that. But yeah, keep going.
Comfortably scored over 400 fantasy points.
Like, that's just ridiculous.
That's unbelievable.
400.
Put a C on it.
And we're about to talk to a man who scores 180. 400 points.
400.
Amazing.
What
so
a
well done,
display.
Speedy. What a massive effort.
Snout the man.
That's awesome.
Geez.
That is awesome.
I cannot wait to be playing the Old Scholars Football Association fantasy footy next year. It will probably be worth about $3 million to buy, though.
Yeah, that is true.
Now here's Warnie with breaking news.
All right, bit of news out of the weekend. Well, there was a lot actually leading into the weekend and then throughout the weekend too. So let's look at the status of some of those changes from last week. So Tom Stewart looks like he'll be out for the year. So game over.
That's
You've got to trade him.
devastating,
If you
isn't it?
didn't trade him, he looks like he will be a must-trade for this week. That Linz Frank injury, so the surgery required for that. He might come back later in the finals. So
it's a chance, is he?
yeah.
Well, that's good.
But your fantasy footy finals, no go. Mills, that Achilles, not necessarily a lock to play, but they think he's going to be okay. So if you did hold him, hold some hope, but be ready for a trade.
This could be another laid out.
Yeah, it could be. It's one of those ones that you could just move. And then teammate Stewart is probably the better chance. And they said he should be... Lloyd, sorry.
Yep.
Reading the wrong name there. So that was knee soreness. So your call, Roy, on holding him...
Over Stewart?
Yeah.
Right so far?
Yep. Right so far.
He's got knee syndesmosis.
Yep. So...
Not the sin.
He's got it. Yeah.
At the moment, we're looking okay with that. Now, O'Meara, he was a late out on Saturday. So, and then Warple was a late out too, but announced on the Friday with an ankle. So that did open the door there for Duke Newcombe, who racked up. He had. So he got the 5 votes in the Michael Barlow medal.
I reckon, deservingly so.
Nearly finished that one too. I think it's actually... James Jordan can't lose it from here, so that's positive for him.
He's been off the radar for a while, though.
He but he's still playing. That's the thing. Patrick Cripps, he should be okay for next week after a tight quad for anyone maybe with him in draft. You're not touching him anywhere near classic, though, are you?
No way.
Scott Lycett had a knee knock, so that's one to monitor for this week. Trey Rusco, if you had him on your pine, hurt his ankle. He was subbed out, so maybe he's okay, but who knows whether they just say no to him for the last game. Jack Zeeb was a big one, though.
Yep.
Hurt his calf later in the game, so one to monitor. You could probably ditch him regardless, even if he is named, just because... there's risk, I suppose. And he hasn't been setting the world on fire.
No, he hasn't.
Right, next one. Stephen May, he was ruled out with general soreness, but he will play, so that sounds like that was more of a rest, I would say. Jack Bowes had a tight hammy, so not that he was scoring too well either.
No, he
that
wasn't.
was the thing. And then Tim Kelly in the last game, he won't play this week, so quite a few coaches do have Tim Kelly.
Well, he was a bargain there, a risky bargain probably 4 weeks ago, wasn't he?
Yes.
And it sort of paid off a little bit. He had a couple of decent scores, but she's backfired now.
So we'll just have to monitor all of that news throughout, I guess, the week, and then into the weekend, and then throughout the weekend, because news is dropping all the time, and it could be a thing where you do hold on to some of your moves that you've got.
Gosh, if you're in a position to, it would be recommended, wouldn't it? But if it means missing the guy you want... that'd be hard to live with as well.
All right.
Tough call.
Hi, it's Nat Edwards. AFL Daily is a new daily podcast from the AFL. Each morning, Damien Barrett and I will share the biggest stories and the biggest opinions in footy. We'll connect the dots and tell you what the stories mean for your clubs and your favourite players. AFL Daily, your new daily footy habit. Available wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, so we're going to look at this round basically as a bit of a preview, I suppose, and go through each game of things to look at, because you're not looking long term now. This is all about this week, and hopefully you're picking your side based around getting bulk points.
Yes.
Maximum points that they could be. Might mean trading out someone that you would normally hold long term as well.
Yeah, true.
So let's go through the games. We don't know the fixtures yet. Something different here for 2021 as we've been getting used to. Likely Friday night game, though, is the Dogs against Port Adelaide. So, thoughts?
Thoughts are the Dogs have been giving up a heap of points to opposition defenders.
Correct.
It's been ridiculous. We've spoken about it for the last few weeks. Now, the amount of marks they gave up against Hawthorn was prime example of it. And Daniel Howe had 9 marks, but he converted that to over 130.
Yep. And you got guys like O'Brien, Lewis and Hardwick combined for 31 marks.
That's ridiculous. So they're doing it. We've flagged it. It's happened again in the most recent round. So this week, against Port Adelaide, there's a lot of players that don't mind a +6 back there. Now, Dan Houston, he's been a frustration machine, but this is nearly enough incentive to hold him.
You hold this one.
He saved his score on the weekend, actually. So that's 2 decent weeks in a row for him. So he could be really good. Who else are we looking at back there?
Well, and we're clutching at straws here, but even like a Ryan Burton, he's had a 68 though, but I'm thinking more so for draft here. But
prior to that 68, I think he went
was good.
3 out of 400s.
He was good.
So he's going to bounce back to a triple-figure score.
Darcy Byrne-Jones coming off 97. He could have a day out.
Field day.
6 marks for him last week. So all those guys there, especially in draft, you could be plucking them. Even though Miles Bergman had a 92 last week.
Well, that's the thing about him. Like, he could be someone that, if you've still got him on your bench in Classic, there's coin on his head, which would be nice to cull and put on top of someone else or whatever you're trying to do with that. But is he worth holding
a loop
as a loop and a bench option if needed?
Yeah. And even in draft, go into the scrap heap, grab him off, put him on the bench for Friday night. He could turn up.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing that you can do across this as well, is that maybe trade out some players. So if you've got that loop there, you could trade out a normal starting defender if you're happy to take that. If you've got the rolling
interesting
lockout
game, yeah, for sure.
Does Hunter survive this game for you, Dog?
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough matchup for him.
It is a tough matchup.
So I probably have bigger issues, and I think a trickier thing will be his price.
Yep.
If I can get him to someone that I really want, and it would have to be, well, forward or defender, because I've got the DPP to flick.
Yeah. There's a few good options.
Yeah, there are some options. So it's just that because he's been so poor, his price has slid a fair bit. So
Danger's still pretty cheap. Someone like that you could get to, probably.
Danger, interesting. Against
a 1 week Danger.
Yeah.
Well, it's better, I reckon.
You wouldn't want him long term. So better than Hunter.
Port Adelaide, 3rd hardest team for midfielders to score against. And Hunter's coming off a 60-odd or whatever he had against Hawthorn.
What a forward pocket score, though.
Well, there you go.
I don't know where he was playing. He seemed to have a bit of freedom.
Next game we'll go in the order that is on the AFL app. That was just what we thought is likely to be the Friday night game. Lions and Eagles. So we could see some points scored here. Is Lions your number one target if you don't have him as a midfielder?
Yeah, he certainly is. So they've got some guys that are in ripping form at the moment. Lions and Zorko in the midfield and forward line would just about be your number one target across both lines at the moment. Eagles, they look like a bit of a rabble at the moment. I saw Sarong, for him to score a 120 against them. I think those Lions boys are going to be huge.
Yes, the Eagles are one of the easiest teams in the last 5 weeks to score against. So you would assume that they all cash in on this. And as you said, with Jared Lyons gone at 135 in his last 4.
It's massive.
So could you load up on Lions? Like, would they be a team to target then?
I think so. 100% agree. Would you have Lockie Neal in there, though?
As
back last week.
As a cheap option. So he He looked pretty slow in the first half, but he had a massive second half. Big last quarter to get to that 120, and his matchup last week was irresistible.
Last year against the Eagles, he had a 158.
Yeah. Well, he's cheap. He's cheap, and he's got that ceiling.
Yep.
So, he's someone you'd look at if that's all if you can't get to Lions.
Yep. Blues and Giants, what's going to happen there, Roy? Are the Blues going to be able to get a win in Teague's last game?
No, God, no. It's a great game for the Giants. They should really feast in that one. The Blues, not only are they in bad form, they're decimated.
Yeah.
Like they're just putting together a pretty inexperienced crew out on the park. So Giants should have a pretty good day there.
All right, so earlier this year, they played each other and Walsh was tagged to 55.
Yeah.
Will they do that again?
It's a very interesting question.
Because he could be traded if you think that's going to be happening.
They won't feel like they have to trade him in order to win this game.
Yep.
It's whether they'd want to look at their structure when they're playing with a tag or whether they just go, let's just smash them head to head. I don't know. It's an interesting one to flag, though. Another one to talk about here is Taranto saved his score in terms of it wasn't great, but it was semi-respectable. I think he ticked over 90 with 4 goals in the first half.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't attend one centre bounce.
Yep.
So he was a far cry from that guy we saw the week before with 9 tackles, all those possessions. He was told he was doing that Toby Green role with Toby out.
So Toby's definitely back this week because it was a 1-week suspension.
So I think hold Taranto and he'll be back in the guts, I reckon.
What do you think, Cal?
Oh, he's up the top of my list.
He's on the chopping block.
Because I can get him to Jared Lyons. And I think that's the other thing. Like, what can you do with him? I don't know. You've got to remember.
I think he'll be good.
Listen to his last 4 scores. 91, 132.
Yep.
Because he was that pure mid. And don't forget before that, 51, 67.
With 0 tackles in those 2 games.
So, I don't know. We are banking on the fact that he's back in the guts.
Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. It's not a bad call to trade him.
I think it is.
You think it is?
Okay. Well,
how many more points do you think Lions can score than him?
Oh, once again, depends where he plays.
10 to 15?
10 to 15, or it could be 50.
Could be anything.
Or 60.
God, if he plays forward and doesn't kick those goals, he's back in that
That's the risk, isn't it?
3 weeks ago where he was...
That's the risk.
Also, just Lockheed Whitfield here, although we thought last week he would have exploded.
Yes.
He's got some big scores against the Blues I'm looking here, he had a 119 this year against them, and then he's even got like them 190 in there as well, a couple of big 120s, so he could explode, but geez, he only had 80 last week.
Bombers and Pies, this could be a bloodbath, Cow. This is the one.
This is a bath.
This is massive. So, our mate Darcy Parish.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a medal up for grabs though, so he turned up that day. He had a 150.
Do they give out medals second time they play?
I think
so.
Yeah,
just the first.
We might ring him up and tell him there's a medal up for grabs. But he's only averaged 92 in his last 5.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's a guy that you would be targeting.
He'll be big here.
He should be.
He will be.
So we talked about what Collingwood gave up to Brisbane last week with Jared Lyons with that 139, Zorko 122, and Neil with the 120. Zach Merritt, if you don't have him, you probably need him for this one.
He'll be big.
Now, he's either going to be massive or he's going to be very average. Like in his last 9, he's gone under 93 times. I think every time I've captained him in that.
So the thing is, with this game, I've got confidence in all Bombers that are relevant. And there's a few of them that are down in price. Hind, he's had a horrible 6 or 7 weeks. He's cheap as.
Couldn't pick him though, could you?
I don't think so. But if it was desperate times, I don't know how he scores poorly in this game. Heppel, Stringer... They are all going to be good. Your mate, Macrae, he had a poor return.
Back,
I don't know how he doesn't reach 100 in this game.
Good for the run type thing, and then he should be all right.
So, I don't know. It sounds a bit disrespectful to the Pies, but scoring against them just looks so easy at the moment.
That looks like it's a Sunday 3:20 game. So in your draft leagues, you could take, working out your matchup and stuff, you could take a punt if they were available on your free agents there to have a bit of a crack. If you're down by a bit, it might be a good, not Hail Mary, but a good one to take on and think, oh, there's a couple of these Bombers that could score better than the guy that I've got there.
Yes, true.
Could be good.
So, anyway, I think that's the case in that game. Bloodbath, as Warney advertised.
Cats and D's. What do you reckon here?
Well, Melbourne...
Two good teams, two top four teams.
They are, but Melbourne...
What are they going to do together? Like, are they going to... Is this going to be a bit of a...
show your hand?
Just leave them outside off stump all game type thing?
Does Mark O'Connor tag Clayton Oliver?
Possibly.
So could you trade Clayton Oliver?
Well, once again...
With a risk of that.
He hasn't been setting the world on fire.
No. Yeah, but add to that, Geelong number 1 hardest for midfielders in the last 5 and number 2 hardest this year.
So there's enough to...
There's all that... The writing's on the wall that he's not going to have a great score.
So if you were chasing a car and your team was in a pretty good position, are you saying trade Oliver?
No. He had 128 on this year already.
Oh, well, he's
okay, so he should be
struggle,
fine. However, there's a few little flags there. Guthrie's been good.
He's cheap too,
coming off
compared to the other big
130.
dogs.
Melbourne, equal number 1 easiest in the last 5 weeks.
Really? For mids?
They've been giving it up. So he
good
goes...
for Danger then as well.
Yeah, well, he goes for his 7th ton, Guthrie, this week.
Yeah, right.
So he would also be another good target.
So Danger, is he a target?
He's definitely a target. He's an
be.
underpriced option still. And
obviously with forward status.
His last quarter was humongous on the weekend.
He's either winning you in the grand final or you're losing by 200.
Yeah, and, well, you're doing it with a good name too.
You are.
So you might as well have a crack.
All right, Tigers and Hawks.
It's the
you
pig.
can't back any of those guys, though, can you really? No Tigers.
No.
But Hawks, like, if you don't have Tom Mitchell, yes, he should be pretty good.
Tom Mitchell, yeah, without a doubt. And who was I thinking of? Chad Wingard.
Oh, yeah.
His form the last 3 weeks has been sensational.
Hasn't stopped, has he?
No, and he's so cheap. He could be part of like a mini double sort of upgrade. If you had a premium, and like an expensive premium still that, you've got too many flags on Cow.
Yep.
If you went down to Chad and that gave you enough money to fix up someone else, he could be part of a sneaky little double play there, given his form and match up versus the Tigers, which we didn't used to think that was good, but that's certainly nothing to fear at the moment.
Definitely not.
They're
the
a
way
shadow of
and
their former
they're
side.
not going to make the 8, so it's, Q in the rack.
It is.
Type game. That's a dead rubber.
And that's when pigs pig.
Yeah, it is.
When everyone stops, they just keep going.
And that's when there's a bit of blood in the bath.
Now, this
Pig
one
blood.
could be a dead rubber, depending on where it falls in the fixture, but the Saints and the Dockers, so which could mean good things for a bloke like Jack Steele. He could go ballistic.
Might as well go out with a bang.
Well, playing for a few Brownlow votes here. So
True.
Guys like that will not put the Q in the rack.
No.
So he'd be the Saint that you'd really want in that.
100%.
But then those Dockers too, like Chera and also Brayshaw's back. I like Brayshaw as an option there as well.
Sarong's gone 117, 118 or something in his last 2.
Yep.
He's cheap still.
Yep.
Yeah, so I guess looking at any of those guys, but it's tough. Like, where do you sit on a dead rubber game? Like, could they just go ballistic, or could it just be a real go through the motions type thing?
Either
Good
way,
scorers will probably score.
Either way, it's points.
Yep. Swans and Suns. I guess what we're watching on that is just hoping that your Jake Lloyd is back.
Oh yes,
You couldn't bring any of those guys in though, could you? You couldn't bring Mills or Lloyd in if they're named.
No, definitely not. Anything could happen. Took, does he bounce back in that?
He should. What did he have? 142 in round 6 against
He had
them.
82 last week.
But 82 last week. Could you bring him in off the back of an 82? I don't think you can.
You can.
You can?
Look at his body of work leading up to it.
Yeah,
But
true.
against the Swans though, are they pretty tough?
They are the 4th hardest this year, but the 7th easiest in the last 5. Okay. So they've sort of flipped it back around.
I don't know, but if you were picking between Steele and Took to bring in, who would it be?
Oh, I'd be going Steele with an easier matchup against Freo.
There's a few dollars between them now.
Imagine if that game is at Pig Park. Steele's never got to play.
No, he wouldn't have played here, would he? Unless he played
so.
a Giants game here. Don't know.
Maybe, but
We'll have to look at the stats.
yes, we will. But I reckon
And
he'll
read
enjoy
nothing
it.
into them because probably mean nothing. And the last game is Crows and the Roos. Another dead rubber.
Yes.
Anything out of that gives you any form of...
Aaron Hall has a day out.
He should.
If you don't have Aaron Hall, just treat yourself for the last game of the year.
There is going to be Mark's g'day for this
Won't
one.
there?
And if Zeebel's not there, there's even more.
Oh,
Wowie.
The only small concern there is, if I was Adelaide, I'd actually put someone on him.
Say stop
Right?
him.
Stop him. Just
Yeah.
don't let him have his 10 to 12 marks a game. That's the only small concern with him.
Yeah.
But Adelaide, it's a dead rubber. They're not going to care.
Nah.
Aaron wants 20 marks.
He does.
Yep.
Going to be big. Look across. Well, we're going to be trying to... Roy will have his trade talk, his buy, hold and sell on Wednesday that you can check through. But make sure you tune in on Thursday night for the last Thursday night live video episode thing of the year on Facebook.com/AFL Fantasy Official from 6:15. We'll pretty much give a good preview and hopefully have all the best options for you to pick, whatever that means, if you are still in these finals.
Cow? You got a joke ready for that?
It'll
Saving
be
your best for last?
Oh, okay, it'll be the best one. The one that Warnie wouldn't let me say.
The best one. That's the bar's not real high.
Oh, dear. No, I'm sure you've got a good one up your sleeve. Okay, it's a sad time, but it's also a time to celebrate, and we are lucky enough to have one of the greatest fantasy players of all time, someone that's always looked after us, and we've looked after him as well by officially snouting him back in the day. And that is, of course, the retiring Pig, Tom Rockcliffe. Welcome to the show, Pig.
How are we, guys? Thanks for having me.
Oh, mate, thanks for coming on. We've always appreciated your time, and you've given us plenty of it over the years, which we're so grateful for, given that from the start you were our boy and you didn't just take that for granted. You went on to become one of the best of all time. Congratulations on retirement, Rocky, and an outstanding career.
No, thank you very much. It's always been a pleasure chatting to you guys, and you've always been there supporting me and the fantasy world out there. So the little bit that I can give back, I'm more than happy to. And unfortunately, we won't be able to go into the sky anymore, so we'll have to enjoy retirement and just in our pens now. We'll have to enjoy a few beers.
We do have a lot of memories, though, and we're going to take a little trip down memory lane of, big scores that you racked up for us over the years. Now, we did jump on you quite early, and we could see it right from the get-go. You only played one game in your first season, and that was, it was a game, and you didn't score too many points, 23, in fact. But in your second season, this was incredible. So you've played 19 games and averaged 87.2. So essentially, we're going to call that your debut season, really.
Yeah.
So you've had a massive season there where you scored 7 tons out of your 19 games. So that's where it began. But then I think we all jumped on very quickly and got on you for that next season as well, averaging 112 in, let's call it your second season, 112.1 from your 20 games. Early on, mate, you were just racking up the pill, but you still had forward status early on in your career, which was also a nice little handy thing for us. So when did you feel it started that you were ready to go at the level and racking up big fantasy scores?
I think for me it was just getting used to the pace early on, and I think when you're a young bloke, you're trying to find your position in the team, and I was lucky enough to play a bit of midfield time and across half forward. I think there was a game, might have been against Collingwood, or I reckon maybe around 10 or something. I think I might have had 30 or something like that. That was the first time I felt like I belonged at senior level and could have an impact on games. So, yeah, the numbers started to produce from there, and never looked back. And yeah, what a great journey it's been for me, but all the fantasy owners out there. Hopefully I've given them a good ride, and unfortunately injuries got the better of me sometimes. If we had had an injury-free couple of years, it could have been a really exciting time.
Well, it was exciting in 2014. That was probably the year that you got your snout, which was an amazing season. Let's go across what happened that year. So basically you averaged 134.8 points. Now that was the highest average that we've seen from any player of all time. You actually overtook a Dane Swan, the original fantasy pig, for average that season. And you did it in that last game that you played as well. It was amazing. I remember back then we were following the scores along. But you did get snouted that season pretty much off the back of one of the hugest games that we've ever seen. And that was 190. That was your career high against the Suns. Now, I don't know if you remember that game. It was 31 kicks, 16 handballs, so that's 47 disposals.
It's like a computer game.
Yeah. And then 5 marks and 10 tackles. And that was one of the things in that season that we saw. Bulk tackles from you, Rocky, like lots of double-figure tackle numbers. Was that the thing that got you over the line with some of these bigger scores, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think that game, the one you referred to, the 190 points, I think Hanley had 45 as well that day. So I think we had 92 possessions between us. on that night. So it makes it a bit easy when your best mates get the footy as well, and you can wax a little bit with the ball out there. But for me, tackling and the defensive side of the game was always important to the way I played. I think I was able to have an influence around the stoppage, not only with my hands on the ball, but also when I didn't, and the ability to put pressure on. I mean, I was never going to be running away and chasing people down to make tackles. It was all in close and just effective that way. So I was able to have an impact when I couldn't get the footy, which, was a real focus of me playing my style of footy.
Now, Warnie mentioned that the record you broke there was obviously the other pig, the original Dane Swan. Now, messages of tributes were just flooding in over the course of the week when you announced your retirement. Did you see that the original pig got on board with those tributes?
I did, actually. It was my Twitter feed was quite full, and I didn't get around to them all, but I did see his pop up. So I appreciate that, and we'll be enjoying our pens next to each other and waiting for Tommy Mitchell and who else. Is that it?
Well, I'll tell you what, you three and then Daylight it is at the moment. So, you'll be waiting for Tommy, but cheer him on along the way.
Now, I've got one here. We had you on the podcast, it was a while ago.
A few years ago.
And we asked you to predict what score you were going to have for that week. Can you remember this conversation?
You there, Rocky?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. You
That's
there?
right. Yeah, do you remember that time you predicted the score on the podcast for us?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know whether you're going to an audio clip there or you...
sorry, we probably should have done that. We're not that professional here.
No, very unorganised here, mate.
When you said, do you remember this conversation? I thought you were going to play it. Sorry, I'm on the I do remember that. That was probably... I was probably kidding myself when I said that, to be honest. I did feel good that year, though. I did feel like I was on top of the ground. And I think that was the year I had a couple of nicks in the hamstring, and I felt like I was in some really good conditioning before coming back. So I thought I was going to have a decent game. And that was one of those games where I was out of position and the ball would just bounce into my hand somehow. It was quite incredible. Like, I'd find myself 3 or 4 deep at a stoppage and somehow it'd end up in my hands. Like, it'd bounce past 3 other blokes and just bobble up. So, I got lucky that day and a little bit ambitious, but it's always nice when you make a bold prediction and you can back it up.
Now, a decent score is 120, just for the record, right? You called a 180, right? Like you were playing darts, and you came out with, I think it was like a 182 or a 183.
184, I think
it was. Amazing.
We were down here, Roy. I remember we were at York Park watching a Hawks game or something at the time, and we're just watching our phones. The game, we've gone onto the ground, kick to kick, and watching the final scores rack up in your game, and then we saw it. It was 180. Incredible.
I remember our reaction. People were looking at me and Warnie like, what the hell are these idiots doing? We were literally running, fist pumping around the ground. It was certainly something to remember. But do you pick up on, like, that is folklore now, that story. People on social media and that quite often bring that one up, or whenever they talk about you, they put a little dartboard next to their tweet, because it is just a story for the absolute ages to even mention 180 and then do it.
And the other day we had Tom Mitchell on the phone, and we were like, hey, Tom, Tommy Pig, what do you reckon you can score this week? Oh, I'll try to get you a 120. See, that's not what you...
we nearly took the snout off him for that.
We don't want to hear that.
Now, another one, Rocky, is basically this nickname. It's actually taken a bit of a life form, hasn't it? You've gone to Port Adelaide, and Ken Hinkley's even oinking at you in the club rooms.
Yeah, it has. It's certainly followed me around ever since I got called a pig. I'll rock up to a pub every now and then now, and the bloke will go past and say, "G'day, pig, how you going?" And they just speak to me like that. And it was funny, when I first started dating my wife, Shana, she's like, why is everyone calling you a pig? And I had to try and explain it to her, and I'm not sure she believed me, but it certainly stuck with me, and Kenny jumped on board and didn't miss an opportunity.
Well, we did love that too in your retirement speech. Every pig has his day. That was a nice way to get that going. And it would have been a pretty tough decision. Injuries, as you said before, sort of finished your season, sadly, your career, because it has been such an epic career for us to watch. And anytime you go out there, like even last year, and this is a thing that I think some people forget about, at the end of last season, you were winning people premierships because the back half or the end of your season was quite good. You spent a little bit of time, struggling to get through, and then you've just gone and smashed out massive gains towards the end. And did Corona Ball really help you out? Did 16 minutes quarters help the Rock Pig?
No, they didn't. I would prefer the 20 minutes. Could have seen some big scores at the back end of last year. Again, I found myself out of the team last year, and then had a really good, strong finish to the season, and found some really good form, and I felt like I was really in a really good place last year at the end of the season to continue. And I racked up some decent numbers towards the back end there of last year, and we had a pretty good run as a team, which made it a lot easier.
Well, one of the things here, looking at some of these numbers, basically you've got records all across the board. That season average of 134.8, I don't think it will ever be beaten. Like, people at the moment are going, oh, Jack Steele, geez, he's a machine. He should get a snout as well. What's he averaging, Cow? About 120?
120, just a measly old 120.
130-plus averages. No. But you've got the most 150-plus scores out of any player, and I think that's what we love the most, is just that ceiling that you have. More than half your games, you went over 100. I think a quarter of them you were going at 120-plus, and then you've got the most 150-plus scores of any player, and it's just a thing of beauty. And I think, boys, it's time to get on your feet, and we put our hands together for the Rock Pig. Unbelievable thing, and we've got a little bit of a thing to send you off with. I think this is what we want to call to arms for the fantasy community, is that it is the last round of the season. So some people aren't in finals, so they mightn't care anyway. Yep. But we want to make you the most traded in player for this week. Now, we know you're not playing, and you cost a truckload as well because you're worth a lot of money. But we want everyone to, even if that means you're getting rid of your Jack Steele, your Touk Miller, all these guys that are smashing it, and bring in Tom Rockcliffe. We want to see you by Wednesday being the most traded in player. Everyone can reverse it after then.
You can switch it back.
You can do that, but we want to see that and whack the C on you.
You've got to put the C on it.
Yeah, you got to have it on.
Would you back that in, Rocky?
Yeah, I'd endorse that. I think it'd be a lovely touch for the fantasy community to send me off that way. And if we could do a lap of honour with all the fantasy crowd, I absolutely would. And I'd dress up in my pig suit and walk around the oval for you. So unfortunately, we can't do that with coronavirus. So yeah, it'd be a nice touch.
That would be good. Well, Rocky, we thank you very much for your time today, but we thank you so much for your career. It has been epic, and we love you, and we will continue to love you as well. We look forward now. We can actually, we might have a beer during a game of footy, and we'll talk some points.
Absolutely, it sounds good. I can't wait. Hopefully, we can get some crowds back to the footy and catch up soon for a beer.
All right, good luck for the rest of this season with Port Adelaide. Hopefully, you're there with them winning a premiership medal.
Yeah, that'd be very nice if we could finish the season that way.
All right, thanks, Rocky.
Right, cheers, Pig.
You're a legend.
Good on you, boys.
See you, mate.
Thanks for that. Cheers, Ted. Speak to you later.
Got a question for the traders? Tweet the boys at AFL Fantasy or head to facebook.com/AFL Fantasy Official.
Alrighty, let's get into some questions here to help people with their grand finals.
That's it, Warren. That's it. Helping people. Try it for once.
Oh, settle down. I'll help you.
You're running out of time.
I helped you today already.
How?
To make you sound better with Rocky's interview.
Yeah, we fumbled
just
through.
quietly.
I got a little starstruck.
You did. It was nice to speak to him.
Yeah,
well done, Rocky. And hopefully everyone does that. Goes
yes.
Trades Rocky.
So make it clear, Doc. Make it clear.
What do they need to do?
Trade in Rocky. And make him captain. By Wednesday, or just do it now. But by Wednesday, we want to take a screenshot to show that he's the most traded in and captain player for round. What? 23.
The equivalent of a lap of honour.
It is. That's how we can show our respect to the pig. You can reverse it on Thursday.
Yeah.
Definitely before Friday's
Or if your
lockout,
season's
really.
over, leave it.
Yeah. Leave it. That
Yeah,
would
true
be
showing
exciting.
of respect.
So work out how you can do that because he is worth a bit of coin. But let's get into these questions from social media. Here we go. Michael Johnson fluked my way into a grand final this week, and with Tom Stewart being a forced trade, need to upgrade my last rookie in Burns. So he's got Tom Stewart trade here, and Burns there, who's worth 453k.
Yeah, Burns.
Is Luke Shuey an option for a 600k player?
I don't think so.
Well, he's coming off 112, so he sees that and he's excited by it.
Well, so he should be. I didn't realise he pumped the 112.
So his combo is Dan Howe and Luke Shuey. Could you do something better than that?
He's got to, so Shuey plays against the Lions.
So essentially, he's got about 1.15 or 1.15 mil.
No, I don't think Shuey is the man. I don't think that's the option he needs. It's a bit hard to say, isn't it?
There's
Not Shuey then.
No.
I don't know. Who do they play, did you say?
No Tim Kelly there.
They play the Lions. Okay, I can see what he's looking at.
He's fine. Yeah, I don't mind backing that in at all. There's other guys around that price.
Chad Wingard's 50k more. Okay, so maybe you can't quite get to that. Who would you have more faith in out of those two? Sarong is about 20k more.
Yeah, I reckon he can afford that too.
There's a couple of other guys there around that price that I'd have ahead.
Look, the fact that Shuey pumped out that score on the weekend, I don't think it's a bad decision at all.
No, I don't mind it.
Enzo, lads, this is my first year of AFL Fantasy. I made it to the grand final. Well done.
Good on you, mate.
Who's the best pick this week? All right, here's a big one. Tuke Miller, Jared Lyons and Tom Mitchell. Who's the best out of these guys? Is it Jared Lyons?
Yes, according to Calvin's captain's ranking system over here,
Right.
he sits as the second best to bring in this week.
Yeah.
Nice. Tom Mitchell.
Tom Mitchell is
Can't go wrong.
the third best to bring in this week.
Tuke Miller. Further down.
He
So
is-
that's your order.
And because
He spat at it. He spat at it too.
No. He's coming
you
off.
are reactive.
No.
Because what you've done the last couple of weeks has gone the number one players who scored higher out of those two, and now you've slid him down the list.
Yeah, well, he's got to go down the list. You can't have an 80 and then be recommended against Sydney.
Okay.
No.
We're not recommending what they did last week, mate.
No, you
We're
are
looking forward.
But
We're
the fact
projecting
one
into
week.
the future.
But even guys like Jared Lyons last week had 139, let's say 140.
So chose that score.
No. He beat Took by 60. Lyons doesn't do 80s.
Right.
Took, I never thought that he did, but guess what? I was wrong.
What?
Okay? I was wrong.
He said it.
Look,
First time this year.
they must have been doing something to stop him taking marks.
Not kick it to him. That's
Was
what
it
they
you
deliberately.
blaming-
They deliberately hated him for that week for some reason.
So
know what?
Lyons, Titch, Tuke.
Agree.
Is your order.
So
I don't think many people disagree with that.
look, I must admit, I flagged something last week.
Oh.
I flagged the Suns' inability to hit a
Yes.
target for a mark.
I saw,
And this is the second week that's happened.
and he didn't take one mark.
They did it a Sharpie again.
They did.
Yep.
Someone, see, the people were actually filming
Oh, really?
examples of it
Yeah,
and
I
putting
saw
it
it.
on social. Trying to kick it to Sharpie. Shank. Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness. Obviously did it to Took.
I just want to throw in there then, where would Jack Steele sit on that list? Because this would be a question people might have, who to bring in of the real big dogs there. So, Lyons, Titch, Miller, where does Steele sit in that group?
at the top.
At the
He's
top.
still at the top.
Right.
So think about his game last week. 50-odd points in the first quarter. He had nearly a ton with a quarter to go.
And he had 50 points in the second half.
And then
in
he-
the
And
last
then
three
he
quarters.
struggled in the last quarter.
You're only as good
Straight
as
in
your
the
last
last half.
quarter.
It was only like a 25-point
But
second half.
he plays Freo.
You're only as good as your last quarter.
He plays Freo. He's going to give them an absolute bar. So
He is.
last week against Freo, West Coast, head tilt Graffer, 126.
Wow.
Redden 115. Shuey 112.
Wow.
Steele goes 130 without even
He
blinking.
does. You're right.
Peter wants to know here, g'day fellas, I can get DeGoey for Hunter. Okay,
Tick.
yes.
Yep,
But that
definitely.
means Sharp to Newcomb on field.
Oh, well, that's just tossing a coin anyway.
Yeah, so you might as well.
It's a silly season. Go
Yeah.
for it.
DeGoey
And-
against the Bombers.
Yeah, and Nuke, gosh.
Duke, he was awesome.
It was awesome.
111.
Bloodbath.
Yep.
Not a term we throw
Okay,
around
so
lightly.
or the other side of that, or do I keep Sharp and trade Hunter to Kennedy, side bottom, Darcy or Isaac Smith. Kennedy's probably the pick of those.
He is the pick of it.
He is.
Would you be happy to keep Sharp and not get Newcombe in and then go to Kennedy rather than DeGoey?
Okay. Well, really, DeGoey and Kennedy, they're probably on even playing field at the moment. So it's that other one. Who would you prefer at the moment out of
Sharp and Newcombe? I think Sharp. Oh, Sharp against Sydney.
Yeah, it's not great.
Duke Newcombe. Who the Hawks got?
Richmond.
That's
an easy one.
I'd probably go there then, get Kennedy. But Kennedy, what, against Giants?
Yeah, it shouldn't matter.
He's a revenge game, isn't it?
Yep. Half of Carlton's list is a revenge game against them. Although, none of them are playing, though, are they?
That's a good point, Dog. Very funny.
That they picked up from GWS. Your recruiting has been fantastic, Roy, the last couple of decades. You haven't had much joy, have you?
Still going.
Right, okay. Miller time. Almost can't bring myself to do it because of the pain of his namesake. It's too raw. But do I bring in Josh Kelly this week?
Yeah, I am.
Is there someone better to spend $813K on? Which is an interesting thing. We talked about this before. Just spend your cash. Spend your cash.
Yeah.
But you get there and you look at the list and you go, ooh, I can afford him.
He's better.
Don't want him. Oh, Josh Kelly's down there. I prefer him.
Yeah, get Josh Kelly. Yeah. He just looked outstanding on the weekend, and his matchup.
As much as it hurts, his hashtags are Kelly out, Kelly in, reckless Kellys, yes.
Yep, I like it.
That's what it is. All right, Finn wants to know, can I trust Luke Shuey? Yes or no? We sort of said that, Roy. You were on the fence, but I think you jumped off it onto one side.
Yeah, I'm saying, you might as well.
Yep.
But he isn't a trustworthy guy.
Yeah.
Had an easy matchup last week as well.
Yeah.
However, 25 touches, 7 tackles.
He's a good player when he's fit.
Yep.
So,
Who goes first out of Taranto and Stevenson?
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Stevenson.
We've got to cover this Taranto thing.
Yeah, we sort of did, didn't we?
Well, I can't remember.
Did we do it on a video?
I can't remember when we did it.
A while ago.
Are we a yes or a no? Are we holding?
We're holding.
We are.
We're saying Toby Green's back, Taranto's back in the midfield.
He didn't attend one centre bounce.
He was told midweek that he is doing the Toby Green role.
How did he feel when he was told that?
Oh, he's probably excited because he thought he might be as good as Toby Green for a day.
What happens if Cogs comes?
He did.
Cogs comes back in this week.
Oh, no, he probably will.
Thursday night team show. Look, make sure you tune in.
It's a concern.
It's a concern. Yes.
Because the thing about trading him or Stevenson is that price difference as well.
And the other thing with Taranto going forward last week, he showed them that he could. He kicked 4 goals too.
He did it too well. We always say.
Do it badly.
He did. He did it so badly a couple of weeks ago. Surely they paid attention to that.
And then, that was his 3rd time in 4 weeks he's been pushed forward. He was like, oh, God, all right, I might as well kick it.
Okay, so the odds say he'll probably be up there again.
I'm calling 50-50.
All right.
God, if Canelio's back, there is huge concerns because Kelly's been in there, Hopper's in there, Canelio'd be in there, De Boer.
Yep. I'd get rid of him.
There's not much time left in there.
There's not much time.
0. Didn't even go in there once. All right, let's play on. More on that on Thursday night.
There is no answer.
Josh Pavlich wants to know, is Sarong an option?
Yeah,
he is.
He's an underpriced option. Now, I don't know if we can expect that 117 again, but the role is there at the minute. The time on ground's there at the minute. Brayshaw is back.
Yep.
So that's a slight concern, but I don't know. He's playing very well for his price, I'll say that.
Alza, how close is Danger to getting a snout in 2016-17? Or did he not get a look in because Cal hates him?
No, it would have been too Roy active.
No.
Who's that?
Speaking of snouts, people have called for Jack Macrae this year.
Yes.
He's shown us why you can't make him a pig.
Yep.
Jack Steele.
Oh, come on. What did he do?
You can't do that in the last quarter. It's the most important
and it's in the finals
of the game.
Yep.
In the finals.
In the finals.
It's got to be factored in.
Agree.
What did he have that last quarter?
And it needs a bit more time. That's
5.
Come on. That's not big.
Nah, pigs don't do that.
And think about what these guys have been snouted off. 130 averages.
Yes.
Except for the ruck pig, who, Roy, you forgot about.
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't
apologise for that.
I don't think he did forget.
No. But as a ruck,
Yeah.
a 120 plus, a couple of years in a row is big.
But it's massive.
That's huge.
A ruck pig. He deserved
But
that.
so for these
thoroughly.
midfielders, we've got to be pushing 130s, but at least 125 plus, I think.
And
for,
the
for,
mids.
for a couple of
There's
years.
A higher,
It can't just be
there's
for
a
the
higher
young season.
expectation for a midfielder.
Yeah, and these
than a
guys,
ruck.
we're looking
he made
at
the ruck his own.
Yep, Steele and Took, they have been doing that basically from round 6. That's a small bit of data.
It is.
We need more. They could get it at the end of next year if they can keep it up.
Yeah.
Daniel, I still have Taranto and Phillips as surviving round 1 picks. Which one should I let come on the end of season trip? Sorry, which one should go on the end of season trip? Phillips could become Zorko.
Yeah, like it a lot.
Or Taranto could become either Took, Steele, or Mitchell.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the last one.
I'm leaning towards the first one.
Phillips to Zorko.
That's what I'm doing.
That's plus 50.
That's what I'm doing.
Taranto to Steele
Yeah, okay.
might be plus 40.
Toronto's going 120 this week.
Wow.
I'm just looking at Taranto, the CBAs. These are the players.
This is the hill you're going to die on, isn't it, Roy? You're going to stand up here going, you'll shout it out to the rooftops.
Listen to these names.
This is one of my hopeful ones.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is exactly. And hang on, what was that one?
Marshall, I
Marshall.
think.
And how did that turn out?
50?
We should get the replay of that one out.
No, I deleted it. I hacked the system.
On your fingers.
Oh, God. Wow.
Yes, dog. I know.
Wow.
Yep. This is what happens.
I want to go back to that tape
Yes,
now.
I bet you do. Bullying breaks people, and you're trying to break me. Yes. Calvin, move on.
No, I've actually got some information. These are the people who they wanted in the middle more than Taranto last week. Okay.
And Daniel Daniels wasn't even there.
Daniel Daniels wasn't there. I've got a couple other people, though.
Oh, man.
Cal Ward had 20 CBAs. Yep.
I forgot Ward.
And Ward. Lockie Ash, 17.
Tagging.
Hopper, 16. Kelly, 16. Taylor Bruhan, 15.
Bruhan.
That's a lot. 15 for him. Sproul, 5.
So, is De Boer there?
De Boer.
Did he play?
Yes, he did play, did not go in.
Because Ash tagged.
Yeah, okay.
So
Ash is tagging
Walsh
this week, then, is he?
Yeah, Ash did that.
Yeah.
It's a small flag.
It is.
Walsh could be a mover honourer.
Could you say thank you? And does he get on the end of your trip?
Do they not tag and Taranto's back in the middle? They just go head to head
No.
and smack them.
No. I don't.
It's part of their game at the moment, isn't it? The shutdown.
Yeah.
It's been part of their resurgence. Shut you.
Good luck, everyone
and
else.
there's only one to shut at Carlton.
Yeah.
Sammy's going to get blanketed.
He's dead. Dead man walking.
He's in trouble.
Bloodbath.
Yeah.
Would you consider trading him, Roy?
No, I wouldn't, but I recommend others consider it.
He's worth considering.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely worth considering.
He certainly does not have the dream matchup like a bomber midfielder, for
Agree.
example.
Yep.
All right. Hey, legends from Costas. Who do you believe is the best unique options to chase for a maximum single game output this week? It's a tough one. It's just looking at those matchups like we talked about before and just going, who can you afford and who do you like with a lower enough ownership?
As much as I hate to say it, the Bombers
Again,
is where it's at this week.
it's a Parish. People might have jumped off Parish. I reckon Parish would be quite unique.
He'd be unique.
Yeah.
Don't know.
I'll type his name in, dog, and I'll have a look for you. But those kind of guys, you would think are going to be,
Parrish was quite unique even when he was going well, wasn't he?
because he got to the point where people didn't want to have to pay up that sort of money for him.
Except you.
Yeah, 10%.
10%.
10% for Parish.
Which then a fair chunk of that would be people up high because that's how they got there.
That's right.
Unless of luxury traded him out.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, Anthony wants to know. Let's rank these guys. Keys, McCluggage, who's higher?
Keys.
McCluggage against the Eagles.
I'm going Clug at the moment. I think he's back.
Parish, higher than both of them.
This week, yes.
Yes, 100%.
Gaff, no.
Parrish.
Neil.
Parish.
So Parish, who's sort of next on that list? Probably Neil or McCluggage.
Yeah, I think McCluggage is probably safer than Neil at the moment, just given the last month.
I don't mind.
Found a way to be out.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't mind Keys, just against North Melbourne.
Is he still getting it done, is he?
He had 114 last week. He's gone at 106 this year.
Yeah, it's been real
That's
impressive
pretty good.
Very good.
Let's go best option under 801k. Here are the three options: Keys, Guthrie, or Simpkin.
Guthrie for me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Scale of hardness says it.
Yeah, and as we said, up against Melbourne, who are the equal easiest in the last 5.
Yeah.
And he's coming off 130.
That's a good price for Guthrie.
Yeah.
He's really a good buy.
He could do that again.
Hayden, who goes out of McAvoy and Hunter?
Jeez. Hunter.
It's that hard, isn't it? But is it Big Boy who's sharing the ruck with Segs?
I don't know. It's 1 week.
Who's the big boy got? He's up against Richmond. So, he's back in the big boy. You want him on the end of your trip.
Well, he's back in the guy that averaged near
that should be
120
better.
last year. That's what I keep thinking.
That had a
with
good
Hunter.
30-odd in the first quarter.
We're going to make him vice-captain, wouldn't he?
There's the audio I need to get back.
Yeah. Big boy's all right. He's getting it done. Oh, not really.
You just didn't decipher what I was saying, Roy, through my mask. That was the problem.
Because his little mouth was moving backwards and forwards.
I couldn't lip read at that stage.
Which two do I trade out of Taranto, Sharp and Bramble? Okay. The one not traded will be fielded. So, 2 to trade. Sharp and Bramble, and then field Taranto. That sounds like the right
You
thing
have to do that, yeah. Taranto, let's not panic. He's back in the middle.
Based on what?
Toby Green back. Ash out of there. No tag required.
So a couple of weeks ago when he was scoring 50 and 60, where was Toby Green?
Probably next to him.
Up forward.
Yeah. That's an issue.
It's a big concern.
Brendan, Wingard or Dangerfield?
Wingard.
I'm probably favoured in my grand final, and the bloke has Dangerfield. Do I go the safe option, or do I wing it and hope for a ceiling against the Tigers?
You take him on. You go Wingard.
Do you take it? No, I go Danger. I normally do this, although sorry to old mate, I think it was Jake last night about he was taking it on, and he needed Darcy to hit a 90. I said, I can't guarantee Darcy with a 90 against them, so maybe you need to take it on. Darcy got his 90, or well over 90, but who he took him on with fell a couple of points short. 1 point he lost by.
Good advice, dog.
Well, that's...
Hey,
don't
so
ask
here's
me
the thing.
for advice. That's
Wingard and Dangerfield, right?
Yeah, okay.
One of those guys has the ability to score a 20 and limp off in the first 5 minutes.
They both do.
Yeah, but I'm backing in Wingard more than Danger.
I think Dangerfield had about 60 in the last quarter.
Danger can have 150.
No, he will.
Chad did 3 weeks ago.
He will do something this week.
Far between.
He'll do something this week to be in the news the next week. Do not do it. Lose the grand final yourself. Do not let Dangerfield lose it. Because he will. He'll try to lose it for you, all right? Don't you worry about that.
Oh, you hate him so
No,
much.
I don't.
You take it way too far.
It's not fair. That is bullying.
It is.
How is that bullying?
Because it's continued. It goes on and on week after week.
It's aggressive.
It's aggressive.
It happens to me every time I sit in this chair from you two.
Right, I think that's enough, boys. We'll be back on Thursday night for our last Thursday night. AFL Fantasy Live, facebook.com.au/AFL Fantasy Official from 6:15. It will be a huge episode because it's going to be interesting. The other thing that is not confirmed yet, but we might lose that pre-finals bye weekend.
Yeah, okay.
Therefore, could we see some restings this week?
Potentially, yes.
So that's another thing to be thinking about. We had plenty of injuries last week.
Yep.
Some were managed, rested type things, maybe not named up officially like that, but that's what they could have been. So that's something to consider.
Yeah, gosh. Just got to be agile here.
That's it.
And the other thing that we do need to make mention of, the Suns, our Gold Coast Suns had a members 22. Each player had a member attached to their name, which was pretty cool. Didn't see our names on there. Probably should have been, as, paid up, passionate, proud members of the Suns.
The traders.
That would have been cool.
That would have
Top
been good.
Took's back.
Yeah.
Probably would have scored 60 if that was on
Weighed
his
him
back.
down.
Anyway, that was it. But one of our friends, Fiona,
Fiona's the
she
best.
was one of the members on the back. Got the rat, Rory Atkins.
Did she?
So she was there for the Suns, so she was the member attached to him. So well done, Fiona. We love Fiona. And Fiona, boys, I had a little delivery last night from Coles. From Fiona. She sent us in
She didn't have to do that.
Tim Tam.
Oh, here we go.
Some nuts.
Right.
Some Doritos. Lots of things. So we've got a little snack to have this afternoon.
We need to get Fiona's name on the back of our jumpers.
See if our fat little guts need all that junk food going in here.
Exactly. Maybe a bit of fruit might have been better.
That's it.
But that's for our Mad Monday, boys. We'll be able to celebrate.
No wonder this boy's been going into it.
We won't have any left at all. No, thank you, Fiona, for that. You are a legend. We appreciate you, and we appreciate everyone who has tuned in this year. It's not the total end for us because we'll have Thursday night and then we'll have a Mad Monday wrap-up.
It was the end for me
next
5 weeks ago.
Are we back again on Monday?
Yes.
Oh, my
God.
Will this ever
One
end?
last time, Cow. It's been a long year. It's been a great year, though. We've had a lot of fun as we're going. Don't forget, trade in Rocky.
Yeah,
make him your captain.
We all
need to do that.
I'm doing it now.
And let's see if we can get the pig to the top of the most traded in list. It would be very bloody cool.
That would be cool.
All right, we'll see you on Thursday night. Catch ya.